फ्रेंड्स, अकाउंटिंग हैंडल करते हुए हम टीडीएस के प्रोविजंस को टेक केयर करना होता है, क्योंकि टीडीएस प्रोविजंस का नॉन कंप्लायंस हमारे बिजनेस टैक्सेशन को एडवर्सली अफेक्ट करता है. We need to consider TDS provisions from every corner, such as determination of nature of payment, determination of right section as per Income Tax Act, determination of right deduction rate, accounting entries for deduction and payment thereof, deposit of TDS, filing of TDS returns and reporting it in annual audit report. इन सभी प्रोविजंस को टेक केयर करने के लिए एक अकाउंटेंट को या फिर एक बिजनेसमैन को इनकी डीप अंडरस्टैंडिंग और नॉलेज होना बेहद ही ज़रूरी होता है. टीम डीजी अकाउंटो अकाउंटेंट्स एंड बिजनेसमैन को इन सभी प्रोविजंस की प्रैक्टिकल नॉलेज एंड अंडरस्टैंडिंग देने के लिए कमिटेड है. वी एट डीजी अकाउंटो डूइंग दिस ऑन रेगुलर बेसिस. We have covered so many provisions like this under our business accounting and taxation mantra series. So friends, we request all of you that आप हमारी चैनल को अभी सब्सक्राइब कर दें so that हमारी कोई भी knowledgeable वीडियो आप तक पहुंचने से रह न जाए. और फ्रेंड्स, आज की इस वीडियो को लाइक कर दें और इस वीडियो को एंड तक देखना बहुत ज़रूरी है for complete knowledge about TDS provisions. We will cover all main TDS section and provisions with their practical implication and case studies. So be with us till the end of this video. So friend, let's start. TDS provision under Income Tax Act and accounting thereof. First, we will need to understand what TDS is and why deduction of TDS is mandatory for eligible deductors. Friends, in any financial transaction, there are two parties. One is receiver and second is payer. Receiver who is getting payment from payer against its services like salary, commission, rent, interest, professional fees, etc. Payer who is making payment to receiver in lieu of services rendered by receiver. चलिए इसे एक प्रैक्टिकल एग्जांपल से समझते हैं. इन द गिवन केस, मिस्टर गौरव इज ए प्रोफेशनल कंसल्टेंट. ही प्रोवाइड्स कंसल्टेंसी टू 4 पर्सन ड्यूरिंग अ फाइनेंशियल ईयर. दैट इज टू मिस्टर कपिल फॉर ₹40,000, टू मिस्टर रेशु फॉर ₹50,000, टू मिस राशि फॉर ₹1 lakh and to Miss Aditi for ₹1,50,000. Now in the above case, Mr. Gaurav is a receiver because he is providing services, and Mr. Kapil, Mr. Reshu, Miss Rasi and Aditi, all 4 are payers because they are paying rupees or amount in lieu of services received from Mr. Gaurav. Now गवर्नमेंट को कैसे पता चलेगा कि मिस्टर गौरव ने एक फाइनेंशियल ईयर में ₹3,40,000 प्रोफेशनल सर्विसेज के टुवर्ड्स रिसीव किए हैं? One way is through filing of income tax return by Mr. Gaurav, but in that case, government will have to wait up to filing of income tax return by Mr. Gaurav for getting income tax revenue. And what if Mr. Gaurav not filed his income tax return on time? So to overcome this issue, government has inserted TDS provisions under Income Tax Act. According to TDS provisions, in case any person is required to make certain payments like salary, commission, rent, interest, professional fees, etc. to any person, then that person would be required to deduct a specific amount from such payment. That specific amount called TDS, that is tax deducted at source. After deduction of TDS amount, payer would also be responsible to pay this amount to the government against PAN of the receiver. Deduction of TDS by payer would render many benefits to government. Some are: first is getting information with regards to income earned by receiver. Second, getting tax revenue in form of TDS in advance round the year rather than waiting till the end of filing income tax returns. Third, assessment of income in the hand of receiver in case receiver not filed its income tax return on time. for tracking of expenditures incurred by payer. Friends, now we will understand who is required to deduct TDS under Income Tax Act. According to TDS provisions, any person who are required to make a specified payment under Income Tax Act such as salary, commission, rent, interest, professional fees, etc. to any person would be required to deduct TDS. However, such person does not includes individuals or HUF whose accounts are not required to be audited. Friends, for tax deduction, deductor required to get TAN, that is tax deduction account number. But there are some section also under which deductor does not require to obtain TAN. हम वो सभी सेक्शन इस वीडियो में आगे डिस्कस करेंगे, आप एंड तक हमारे साथ बने रहे. We will cover all the provisions with full of practical case studies. Now we come to provisions when payer is required to deduct tax. According to TDS provisions, payer is required to deduct TDS first at the time of making payment to receiver, second at the time of credit of income to the account of receiver, whichever happens earlier. So friends, आपने देखा TDS क्या है, इसको डिडक्ट करने की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी किसकी है एंड TDS कब डिडक्ट करना है. अब हम देखेंगे TDS कितना डिडक्ट करना है. सो नाउ वी कम टू एट व्हाट रेट डिडक्टर इज रिक्वायर्ड टू डिडक्ट TDS. According to income tax, payer is required to deduct TDS on payment of certain payments. Rate of TDS deduction will also be depend upon type of payment made by payer to receiver. According to TDS provisions, payments को multiple sections में divide किया गया है. For easy understanding, we will cover main sections in this video, which are very general in nature and used in practical accounting life on daily basis. So we will take one by one. First, we will cover TDS on payment to contractor or subcontractor, which is covered under section 194C. Friends, section 194C एक बहुत ही जनरल सेक्शन है. ये सेक्शन ऑलमोस्ट सभी पर एप्लीकेबल होता है. According to section 194C, any person does not includes individual or HUF whose accounts are not required to be audited. Now, any person who is required to pay any money to the resident contractor or subcontractor is required to deduct tax on such payment. Friends, TDS will be deducted only when aggregate amount of payment exceeds rupees 1 lakh during a particular financial year or any single bill or payment exceeds rupees 30,000 to a particular person. Rate of deduction would be at the rate of 1% in case of payment made to individuals or HUF or 2% in any other case. We will understand it with the help of an example. In example, Messrs ABC Limited makes below mentioned payments to Mr. X, a contractor during financial year 2022-23. Rupees 26,000 on 2nd of June 2022, rupees 29,000 on 6th of August 2022, rupees 30,000 on 11th of August 2022 and rupees 28,000 on 20th January 2023. Friends, in the given example, payment does not exceed rupees 30,000, so no TDS is required to be deducted at that time. But while making payment on 20th January 2023, aggregate payment in financial year exceeds rupees 1 lakh, hence TDS will be deducted at that time. Now we will see it with the help of a table. This table covers TDS applicability and accounting entries for the same. Dated on 2nd of June 2022, on the payment of 26,000, there will be no TDS liability because single or aggregate payment not exceeding the threshold limit. What would be the accounting entries in that case? On booking invoice, expenses account debit and Mr. X credit with amount 26,000. On payment made to Mr. X debit or bank account credit with the amount 26,000. Now comes to next date, that is 6th of August 2022. Amount is 29,000. Here also no TDS liability because single or aggregate payment not exceeding the threshold limit. Now accounting entries on booking of invoice same, expenses debit to Mr. X for with rupees 29,000. On payment to Mr. X debit to bank account with the amount of 29,000. Now comes to next, that is 11th of August 2022. Payment of 30,000. There will also be no TDS liability because single or aggregate payment not exceeding the threshold limit of rupees 30,000. Accounting entries on booking of invoice, expenses debit with rupees 30,000 to Mr. X with rupees 30,000. On payment to Mr. X debit to bank account with rupees 30,000. Now on 20th January 2023, aggregate amount during the year exceeds rupees 1 lakh by paying 28,000. So TDS is required to be deducted at the rate of 1% because Mr. X is an individual. On aggregate amount of rupees 1,13,000, that is rupees 1130. Now we will see what would be the accounting entries in that case. On booking of bill or invoice, expenses debit with rupees 28,000. Now Mr. X credit with rupees 26,870, that is 28,000 minus TDS amount 1130 and TDS payable account credit with rupees 1130. Now we comes to when we are paying to Mr. X debit with rupees 26,870 to bank account with rupees 26,870. Now what would be the accounting entry on payment of TDS? TDS payable account debit with amount 1130 to bank account with amount 1130. So friends, now we will cover next section, that is TDS on rent under section 194I. According to section 194I, any person who pays rent to a resident person is liable to deduct TDS. Friends, any person here does not include individual or HUF whose accounts are not required to be audited. Threshold for applicability of TDS provisions under section 194I is rupees 2,40,000 in a particular financial year. Means if payment of rent in a financial year is more than rupees 2,40,000, then only TDS will be required to deduct by payer. According to section 194I, rent includes any lease, sublease, tenancy or any other agreement for the use of any land, building, machinery, plant, equipment, furniture or fittings. Now we will see at what rate TDS on rent will be deducted. Friends, according to provision mentioned under section 194I, TDS will be deducted according to the nature of payment. Mean to say, यदि rent पे किया जा रहा है for plant, equipment and machinery, then TDS rate will be 2%. However, if you are paying rent for land, building, furniture or fittings, then TDS will be deducted at the rate of 10%. Friends, now we will see practical implication of the section. Messrs Dizzy Accounto Private Limited is running its business at rented premises of Mr. Rakesh Kumar. Messrs Dizzy Accounto is required to pay monthly rent of rupees 50,000 to Mr. Rakesh Kumar according to an agreement entered between them. Mr. Rakesh Kumar is a registered business person under GST and he will charge applicable GST on every receipt of rent from Messrs Dizzy Accounto. So, we will discuss applicability of TDS provision here. How to make accounting entries on every event. First, we will calculate monthly rent amount payable to Mr. Rakesh Kumar and TDS amount need to be deducted from payment amount. We will see it in table. First, we are going to calculate monthly rent payable by Dizzy Accounto to Mr. Rakesh Kumar. Monthly rent fixed as per agreement entered between them, that is rupees 50,000. add GST charged by Mr. Rakesh Kumar, that is 18% of rupees 50,000, which comes to 9,000 rupees, less TDS required to be deducted by Messrs. DG Accounto, that is 10% of rupees 50,000, saying 5,000. So net payable to Mr. Rakesh Kumar in terms of rent on monthly basis comes to 54,000. That is 50,000 plus 9,000 minus 5,000 comes to 54,000. So in the above example, Messrs. DG Accounto will require to pay 54,000 to Mr. Rakesh Kumar against rent and rupees 5,000 to be paid to government as TDS on rent. Now we come to accounting entries on every event. We can see event and accounting entry in the table. First, at the time of booking rent expenses in the books. First, rent account debit with rupees 50,000, GST receivable account debit rupees 9,000, TDS on rent payable account credit 5,000 rupees, and Mr. Rakesh Kumar credit with rupees 54,000. Now what will be the accounting entry at the time of making payment to Mr. Rakesh Kumar? Mr. Rakesh Kumar account debit with rupees 54,000, bank account credit with rupees 54,000. Now at the time of payment of TDS amount to government, TDS on rent payable account debit by rupees 5,000 to bank account, that is 5,000 rupees. फ्रेंड्स यहाँ पर कुछ पॉइंट्स भी हैं जिनका हमें ध्यान रखना होता है, जैसे if agreement requires payment of any security or advance rent as deposit, which will be refunded at the time of vacating the premises or property, then no TDS is need to be deducted under section 194I on such payment. However, advance rent which is not in the nature of refundable security deposit is always subject to TDS under section 194I. Second, if you are paying rent to NRI, then TDS at the rate of 30% plus surcharge thereon plus 4% cess must be deducted. TDS must be deducted irrespective of the amount of rent paid to NRI, as there is no limit on the rent payment. Friends, as you seen, section 194I does not applicable on individual or HUFs whose accounts are not required to be audited. So बजट 2017 में एक न्यू सेक्शन इंसर्ट किया गया, सेक्शन 194IB. अकॉर्डिंग टू दिस सेक्शन, if any individual or HUF who are not required to their accounts audited paying rent to a resident exceeding rupees 50,000 per month are also liable to deduct TDS at the rate of 5%. For compliance, the provision of section 194IB, payer is not required to obtain tax account number, tax deduction account number, that is 10. He can deposit the deducted TDS amount to government through his PAN as a taxpayer. It is also possible to deduct and deposit the same in single deduction in a particular year at the time of end of particular financial year. Friends, now we come to our next TDS section, that is TDS on professional or technical fees, which covers under section 194J. Friends, according to section 194J, every person other than an individual or a HUF whose accounts are not required to be audited, who is responsible for paying to a resident any sum by way of fees for professional services or advertisement, fees for technical services, or any remuneration or fees or commission by whatever name called other than those on which tax is deductible under section 192 to a director of a company, or royalty or non-compete fee referred to in section 28 subsection VA, shall deduct tax at source at the rate of first 2% in case of fees for technical services not being professional services, or royalty in the nature of consideration for sale, distribution or exhibition of cinematographic films, and be 10% in any other cases. However, in case of a payee engaged only in the business of operation of call center, the tax shall be deducted at source at the rate of 2%. Rate and threshold limit under section 194J. We will understand it with the help of an table. Table covers nature of payment, threshold limit, rate of TDS. First, fees for professional services. Threshold limit is rupees 30,000 in a particular financial year. Rate of TDS is 10%. Second, fees for technical services and payment to call center. Threshold limit here also 30,000 rupees for a particular financial year. Rate of TDS is 2%. Third is remuneration or fees to directors other than salary. Threshold limit is nil here and rate of deduction of TDS is 10%. Now fourth, royalty, where such royalty is in the nature of consideration for sale, distribution or exhibition of a cinematographic film, rupees 30,000, deduction of TDS is 2%. Other royalty, rupees 30,000 is the threshold limit and rate of deduction of TDS is 10%. Now the final one, non-compete fee, threshold limit is again 30,000 in a particular financial year and rate of deduction of TDS is 10% under section 194J. Now we will see what if responsible person does not deduct TDS or does not deposit the same to the government on time. Friends, in that case, such person shall be deemed to be an assessee in default. Interest and penalty provisions will be applicable on him. Interest at the rate of 1.5% per month will be imposed on the person due to failure in deduction and deposit the same to the government. So friends, we have covered main TDS provisions and their practical implications. In case of any query and support with regard to compliance of TDS provision, you may contact us or comment in the comment section. We will try to resolve the same. We will continue to cover practical issues in our business accounting and taxation mantra series. We required your support and request you to please subscribe our channel. It will motivate us. Friend, choose Dizzy Accounto as your compliance partner as we are accurate, professional and cost effective. Choose Dizzy, karo compliance easy. Thank you friend. Thanks for listening. Thank you.